What is a movie you find terrible but critics seem to love? Girl on the Third Floor. I don't understand how this giant piece of shit has 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. Sometimes B-horror movies seem to only get reviews from die-hard horror fanatics, and this pushes their scores way up. Just stopped watching about halfway through. That cum shower scene did make me laugh though. I mean, what did he expect? Shouldn't have watched that while eating lunch. Also, do people stand in their showers when turning them on? I keep out until the water is at the right temperature. Doing otherwise results in getting both frozen then scalded. Edit. Definitive answer is that a good number of you do, either out of ignorance, habit, or strangely even preference. And this is now my top comment by a wide margin. Why this one? I didn't know gazpacho soup was supposed to be served cold. There's some sad person out there who's gonna use this as a movie recommendation thread. To be honest, I might check out Girl on the Third Floor and Ad Astra just because I've never seen them and quarantine's got me going bonkers. Argo. Not because it was necessarily a badly made movie, but because it willfully rewrote real-world history to make America look like the sole heroes. The British and New Zealand embassies did not turn the American embassy workers away. The British embassy took them in, at great risk mind you, but transferred them to the Canadian embassy since they could more easily pass for Canadians, and the British embassy was in a dangerous location already. The New Zealand embassy took similar risks. The actual Americans who were rescued made extensive comments at the time stating displeasure over how the actual situation was depicted, since it was, well, bullshit. And don't get me started on U-571. At least that movie was the box office bomb it deserved to be, since it straight up replaced the British Navy, who recovered the Enigma machine with the US Navy. They got so much hate over it that they just lazily shoved a disclaimer at the end saying pretty much actually it was the British Navy who captured the machine, but oh well, to save face. The bloody US wasn't even in the war when the events depicted happened. Shakespeare in Love. The legend goes, Winona Ryder and Gwyneth Paltrow were best friends. Paltrow was seeing Ben Affleck. Winona was engaged to Matt Damon. The two men were also coincidentally best friends. They had couples dates and hung out all the time. One day Gwyneth sits down on Winona's couch. There's a pile of scripts on the coffee table. Winona is still in the bathroom or doing something, getting ready I suppose. Anyway, Paltrow sees the script for Shakespeare in Love. She asks Winona about it. Winona explains that they want Winona to play the character of a woman who wants to be an actor in the 16th century, back when women were not allowed to act and they used men to play the female parts. To get around this, her character dresses up like a man to audition for a female part in a play by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare is attracted to Winona's character and eventually discovers her true identity of a woman, and they start an affair. This affair inspires the 12th Night. They think Winona is perfect for the part because she's petite and also could convincingly wear a mustache without it looking completely freaking stupid, since her character is pretending to be a 17-year-old guy. Gwyneth finds out who's producing the movie. It's Harvey Weinstein. Guess who got the part? Guess how it's assumed Paltrow got the part? Winona accuses Gwyneth of what we are all thinking, although this is probably false. The women ask Matt and Ben to take sides as they are no longer friends, but Matt and Ben are best friends. They both leave the women and their bromance continued. Yes, this event almost broke up Matt and Ben, but they realized what was important, their friendship. Edit. Because I'm getting a lot of comments about this, please keep in mind that Gwyneth Paltrow is a victim of Harvey Weinstein. She did not sleep with him for the role. It's more likely he was afraid of the Brad Pitt threat or of her revealing the truth of him being a post-rapist. Also, this is obviously a rumor. Second edit. Folks, this is a story I wrote in 5 minutes, so please don't take it as gospel. I never thought I would get this many upvotes, and I initially did not pay attention to my wording, especially with the Paltrow Weinstein stuff. Bohemian Rhapsody. I love Queen, but this movie sucks. Rocketman was fucking amazing. Critics didn't really love it. Their reception was mixed and not high. The general audience seemed to love it though. Waterworld, 1995. Oh wait, other way around. Crash, the Best Picture Oscar winner, for those asking. People conflating movies that are popular with movies critics love. SpongeBob, sponge out of water. Fucking 81% RT score with a 54% audience score. If you want a SpongeBob movie, watch the original 2005 movie. Infinitely better. Everything that came out of SpongeBob following the 2005 movie is garbage. I'm pretty sure the creator and good writers all left after the success. Not me, but my dad. He absolutely hates Snowpiercer, but it's got fantastic ratings and a great director. Even after rewatching, he still just doesn't get into it. I'll admit the first time I watched it with him I wasn't huge on it either, but I've rewatched it many times and it's one of my favorite films now. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. I'm glad I'm not crazy for not knowing what exactly to make of the movie. If you hated the movie on your first watch, I recommend rewatching because it seems lots of people changed their minds after it. Also known as Willy Wonka and the Apocalypse Train. A beautiful day in the neighborhood, in my opinion. I feel Tom Hanks didn't accurately portray Fred Rogers at all. Rogers was in no way as eccentric as the persona portrayed by Hanks in the film, but was his own breed of human. The Rogers character portrayed by Hanks, especially with the portrayal of violence in a scene of the film set during a live broadcast of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, was in no way the real Mr. Rogers. The documentary Won't You Be My Neighbor was a far better insight into the life of Rogers. I thought it was an okay movie, but I agree that Won't You Be My Neighbor is superior. Part of the problem I had was that Tom Hanks is too recognizable, so it just feels like Tom Hanks dressing up in Fred Rogers clothes. I also felt like the focus on the guy was kind of ham-handed. I was hoping more for a film that made him Mr. Rogers more personable, while the film seemed to try to push hard on deifying him in a way. Won't You Be My Neighbor did a much better job making him a well-rounded person. Shawshank Redemption. Nah, I'm kidding. That movie is amazing. Monsters Ball was horrible but somehow won awards. The Lion King remake. The CGI is absolutely gorgeous, I can't deny that. But going to hyper-realistic lions made the movie lose all of the charm the original had. There's a complete disconnect between the emotions the voice actors were going for and what the lions were showing due to the fact that real catch lions don't have a wide range of facial expressions to portray human emotions with. Other changes were met. Some were good, like fixing some plot holes, but for the most part the changes were bad. Removal of songs, toned down the magic, Beyoncé butchering music. Toy Story 4. When it was first announced I thought it was an unnecessary movie. After watching the trailers I still thought it was unnecessary, and after watching the movie I realized I was correct. And this led me to hate the movie because the trilogy had a perfect ending. By the way, How to Train Your Dragon 3 should have won the Oscar in Toy Story place. Peace. Sorry about my English if I made any mistakes. It is not my language. Ralph Breaks the Internet. A disappointing sequel. I genuinely think that the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney is one of the worst movies that has ever hit the big screen. Happy Feet. What in the actual F? American Hustle. One of the most boring movies I have ever watched. Try Kung Fu Hustle instead. The Cantonese subtitles make it. The Greatest Showman. Like it's about an awful person but they make him seem like a good guy, plus the script and songs and everything about it was just mediocre, so when I watched it after all the praise it got I was just disappointed. A Star is Born. I just don't get the hype. Almost no conflict in her rise to stardom and the ending seemed so predictable the closer I came to it that I had a hard time even finishing it. It was just boring. It seems like one of those movies that anyone who's in Hollywood or has experience with any kind of stardom would enjoy romantically, but as a layman the rest of us just aren't as invested. Toy Story 4. It breaks so many rules and is such an insult to the characters. The villain and her minions are really interesting, but lacks the threat of characters like Sid and the evil Abalazzo. I guess that could be the point though. Kinda sad they didn't do more with her and her minions. Plus, Duck and Bunny are more unfunny than minions. American Sniper. Also known as This Man Murdered Civilians but he feels bad about it so it's okay. US Army. Good. Remember Inglourious Basterds and its movie in a movie segment Stars Dare Nation? You know, the propaganda film about Frederick Zoller, the hero sharpshooter, which premieres towards the end of the movie? American Sniper is that film, only feature-length, and in color. Shape of Water. Honestly, might have been a good movie to address the way humans treat creatures, but they fucked it up by having them fall in love. Like what the actual fuck? Yes, fucking Nemo. Great movie. A Star is Born is so cringy, I can't understand why people raved about it. Just because they had good chemistry? I mean, yeah they did, but that's probably cause they either wanted to or were sleeping with each other. Big whoop. The storyline was absolute garbage, so cheesy, weak and stereotypical. People mentioning a bunch of popular 2000s and 2010s movies make me worried about my opinion. A Clockwork Orange. I've read a book and watched the movie. I hated both. Titanic. I just don't get it. Most of the special effects are amazing, some shots have too much of that 90s CGI look, but the actual movie was an extremely generic love story with nothing new. Well, the real star of the show was the boat. The love story was really to just get us on board and to the sinking. Ad Astra. Whole movie was a waste of time, surprised I didn't fall asleep. The movie was visually stunning. I just didn't care about the characters. They really needed to show more than just tell us what was happening. The Irishman. Same gangster movie with octogenarian actor that we've seen 1,000 times before, but critics seem to eat that stuff up. I think the movie was overrated for sure, with people calling it a masterpiece, but I do think it's unfair to say it's the same old gangster movie. It's notably not that actually. It's not the crash burn movie we've seen in the past with Casino and Goodfellas, Scarface, etc. It's not a glamorous Godfather-style movie either. I heard it said that it's an old guy movie. I think that's fair, even though I don't agree it makes it bad necessarily. It's just clearly not made with the same energy and perspective as your average gangster movie. Pitch Perfect. Some of my friends made me watch that monstrosity. It has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Someone is a casualty. I actually really liked Black Panther until it ended with that CGI fight scene. Had it ended with both of them losing their suits and duking it out at the proving grounds they fought at earlier, it could have been considerably better. I really didn't understand the love for A Quiet Place. It relied overwhelmingly on cheap jump scares. Ironically, the movie that everyone seemed to hate, Bird Box, was basically what I thought A Quiet Place should have been. Much more dread and horror, with minimal. Dunkirk. I really wanted to like it, but I found the movie to be an absolute snooze fest.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel.